Hey, good morning. Joe Deary, Powerful Improvements, Putnam, Connecticut. Out here getting some water and bleach transferred up onto my truck. And I'm making a video today. I don't usually share much that's happened to me personally on the channel, but as part of the evolution of what's been going on, I guess I'm obligated to share this, and I think it's important. So I'll let you guys know that on Thursday last week, I was working with Quinn. And we got through our whole day's worth of work. It got to be about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we were just wrapping up on the last job. And I started to really not feel very good. I felt tightness in my jaw and tightness in my neck. And then it radiated down into my chest. And I started having chest pains. And I wasn't sure what to do with myself. Kind of walked around in circles for a few minutes and told Quinn, hey, look, I'm not feeling very good. And he's like, well, you're dehydrated, Dad. You don't drink anything all day. And that's the truth. I usually don't eat or drink hardly anything during the day. I get caught up in just working. And so I sat in the truck for a couple of minutes and it kind of didn't go away. And then Quinn wrapped everything up for me at the end of that job. I got on the truck and had a couple sips of iced tea, and the tension that I was feeling kind of resolved itself and I felt pretty good. I felt normal again. And then I got home on Thursday night about 4:30 or so, and the same kind of symptoms started happening to me again. And on the job for the last couple of years, I really don't eat very well, to be honest. I've led a very healthy lifestyle for the majority of my life, but in the last few years, I've really not been eating very well. I've been eating a lot of cheeseburgers, which you guys see on the videos. I've been eating a lot of sandwiches with bacon on them. And then Thursday, I had a spicy chicken sandwich from Kentucky Fried Chicken. So I assumed I was having heartburn or something like this. So I took a few Tums on Thursday night and I was in a lot of pain. And my wife came home and she's like, you need to go to the hospital. I'm calling 911. And I talked her out of it because I assumed I just had heartburn. And then it did resolve at around 7 o'clock at night and I felt pretty good. And actually took a few phone calls and did a little bit of scheduling and whatnot. And then I got up Friday morning. Quinn and I, of course, had a stacked day on Friday. And I felt okay to get started in the morning. And then I had a cup of coffee and started to have some tightness again. And came out here and started transferring bleach and whatnot. And leaned on my hand truck for a little while and felt better. So I went ahead and did a whole day's worth of work with Quinn on Friday, feeling pretty good. I didn't eat anything except a banana, I think, all day long on Friday because I didn't want to upset my stomach again, thinking that it was heartburn. And for you guys that may have watched my video on Friday, we did roof washing. I was up on roofs, washing with the X6. I was moving the 32-foot ladder around, fully extended, on a Victorian house, climbing to the top of the ladder, emptying the gutters, not winded at all, presenting no symptoms of any kind. So I chalked it up to, it had to have been heartburn. I'm healthy as a horse. I have nothing. I feel I'm at the top of the ladder and I'm good. And I kind of pushed it a little bit on Friday just to prove that point to myself. And then it got to be Saturday morning and we had some plans to do some family things. And I got up about 6:30 and came downstairs and got on my iPad and started doing some scheduling on Markate for about 20 minutes and got through about a half a cup of coffee and started having tightness in my jaw and my throat that radiated down into my chest again as I was sitting on the couch. And then I broke out into a cold sweat. And I, of course, grabbed my phone and started looking at, heartburn, heart attack symptoms and stuff like this. And the heart attack symptoms were very clear with the jaw and then the cold sweat. So my wife came downstairs and I told her I need to go to the hospital. And we talked for a few minutes and she wound up calling 911. And the ambulance came to my house within about 4 minutes flat. The response time was incredible. They got to my house and they hooked me up to an EKG immediately and said, yeah, you're actively having a heart attack and we need to get life flight here immediately. So they threw me into the ambulance and brought me to the local hospital where my wife works, which is right down the road, thankfully. But unfortunately, the helicopters were not flying on Saturday morning because of the bad weather here. And we don't have ambulance transport to bigger hospitals from our small town hospital. So I had to travel to Hartford, and they had to send an ambulance from Hartford. It took them a little over an hour to get to where I was, but they managed to give me some clot busting medication and some other things, nitroglycerin, and several other things. They bolused me with all sorts of nonsense, and I was completely swimming. And I really thought I was gonna pass at Dade Kimball. I was scared to death. The ambulance gets me over to Hartford, and they rushed me into cardiac cath for an emergency stent in my heart on Saturday around noontime. I had one artery, I think it's called the RCA, in the back side of my heart, lower right hand side of my heart, that was completely clogged. And they put a stent in my heart. They put a catheter in my wrist and went up into my heart. You can see the bruising that I have from IVs. I had big IVs in both arms. And they placed the stent in my heart on Saturday. And I spent, of course, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Today's Tuesday, June 20th. So I spent Father's Day weekend, of all weekends, in the hospital. Thank God that I got there when I did, because like I say, that artery was 100% blocked, and they told me a few more hours I'd probably be telling a different story when I got off the operating table. The doctor says, if you would have waited 3 or 4 more hours, you probably wouldn't be telling your story today. So I have also another severely blocked artery in the front of my heart. I believe it's called the LAD, and it's the largest artery in your body, delivers most of the blood to your body. And when you have a heart attack or cardiac arrest because of that particular artery, they call it the widowmaker. So we need to get it repaired. So I'm going in to have another stent put into my heart in 3 or 4 weeks, and we'll be taking some time off for that. So consequently, I'm on light duty. I rescheduled all of my work for the rest of this week until sometime in July. I reached out to every client while I was in the hospital. My wife brought me all the things I needed to be comfortable, because she knew this would be stressing me out, not taking care of my business. So she brought me my iPad and whatnot, and I spent a little bit of time while I felt good, texting all of my clients and let them know, hey, I had a heart attack. And every person was very understanding and was like, do what you need to do and get to us when you can, because washing your house should not be emergent. If it is, you have to go somewhere else, I guess. So anyway, I'm home today. This is my favorite little kitty Marbles. This is the cat that I traded a house wash for, a roof wash for. We got her last fall. Ah, bud. Yeah. She's the best, my little buddy. She's like a little cat dog. Yeah, what a good girl. Look at that cat. So anyway, that's what's going on in my life. Didn't really want to share this, but I think it's important, because there's a lot of you guys out there that are just like me, and you're stubborn, and you don't want to admit when something's wrong with you or something's not going right. We tend to just ignore it. And I want to emphasize my situation. And you guys, if you have any symptoms, man, please go to the hospital, because, all the research I've done, and I think most people know that heart disease is the #1 killer in men, especially when you get to be my age. I'm 54. And I think from, most people's perspective, if you're just looking at me, I'm probably about as healthy as you could expect. I think everyone I've mentioned this to is shocked, because I've led a very active, very healthy lifestyle always. Like I've never been overweight or sedentary in any way. I'm extremely active, and this has happened to me. So there's a part of it that is likely hereditary, and then the other part of it largely has to be my diet. If I'm being honest, my diet has been terrible for the last year or so. So we're making some reset in my lifestyle, and we're going to continue to get it done. Thankfully, I've got both of my boys to lean on. So over the next week or so, I'm taking this week off. Next week, we're back at it. We're not going to hang around and do nothing. But I got both boys on the job with me next week, and I'm going to be foreman, point finger, light duty. I'm doing a couple little things today, getting my rig reset, getting my bleach put away, you know, light duty nonsense. But I'm going to avoid climbing ladders for a couple of weeks. And then I'm going to, like I say, in a month or so, get a second stent, which is going to also slow me down for a couple of weeks. So, you know, after that, the prognosis is that I should be back 100%. And then along with lifestyle change and medications that I'll now be on, we should have no issues moving forward. But, you know, that's it. I got nothing much more to say about it. You guys have a great week. Talk to you soon.